So I do have a lot of questions. What I want you to explain is the logic behind what you're doing, right? Because it seems as though you think running is going to spark something in other potential candidates. So explain what the logic is.
Great question. So first of all, when it comes to the issue of me being a naturalized citizen, which I know we're going to get to later, if it wasn't for that, there would be no obstacles to begin with. There should be a progressive in this race. There should have been one for a long time. Marianne Williamson has been in there, but unfortunately she hasn't broken through. I have nothing but respect for her courage and her policies, etc. But at this point, we're not at progressives versus establishment. We're at 4 months left. And things must change, otherwise we're almost definitely going to lose to Trump.
What do you mean when you say 4 months left? I know what you mean, but explain it to the audience.
So Iowa, South Carolina primaries, caucuses, etc., start in about 4 months. So in fact, the Nevada ballot deadline is on October 16th. So it's in a couple of days. That forces us to go now, right? And so first of all, if Joe Biden drops out, everything is possible. Everything is possible. All the other candidates will come in. Governor Whitmer, Governor Shapiro, you name it. They will all come in and we'll have a real primary, which we should have had from day one. By the way, when we don't do primaries, Republicans get their message out in their primaries is constantly talking about Republican X or Republican Y. Democrats have gotten none of their message out. We need a real strong primary. So my job is to be basically Paul Revere. Biden's gonna lose, Biden's gonna lose, Biden's gonna lose. We gotta go now. We have to change that dynamic. So I'm gonna, pressure Biden to get out of the race. So if he leaves now, he's a hero. He did something incredibly magnanimous. He beat Trump last time. He was a good steward of the economy. So he retires a hero. But if he stays in, I'm gonna explain to people that he's the villain. And if he loses to Trump, if I'm wrong and he beats Trump, then great. Then my apologies to Joe Biden. But that's not gonna happen and we all know that's not gonna happen. So the idea is to create enough pressure on Biden. And here's how you get the pressure. One of the ways you get the pressure is everybody thinks that I have almost no chance of winning, right? Well, let's keep it real. Everybody knows that, right? They're like, oh, your name is funny. You weren't born here. You're a progressive. You're an outsider, et cetera, right? If I get to 20 or 25, panic sets in. There's no question panic sets in because there's two things that happen there. One, the other candidates go, well, Biden is enormously weak, right? Number two is Biden begins to realize the handwriting's on the wall. If this Cenk Uygur, who he probably can't pronounce, has gotten to 25, the handwriting's on the wall, he's gotta go. And by the way, Anna, the reason why this is realistic is because there are a lot of people in Washington, inside the establishment, that are trying to get Joe Biden to drop out. We need to help them. We need to create that pressure.
Okay, let me jump in. You have publicly Bill Maher, James Carville, behind the scenes, other members of the Democratic Party urging Biden to drop out, saying that this is a massive risk that will likely get Donald Trump reelected again. Why do you think that you would be an effective voice in dissuading Biden from running again?
Yeah, there's two things about that, Anna. So number one, why aren't they in the race? So look, you can say, well, what do you mean, why? Why should Bill Maher go in the race? Of course, James Carville's not gonna go in the race. Yeah, but guys, just talking about it isn't getting anything done. So you need to actually have someone in the race that is actively pushing him out and saying, so like these polite beseeching of Joe Biden isn't working. And yes, we've got to crank up the dial. And so one of the ways you do that is you have a real candidate who actually makes a real run at him. And when you have make a real run at him, that's gonna create an enormous amount of pressure rather than just chitter chatter sitting there as time runs out in Washington, D.C. Now, you're getting to an important point here. And I know some people are nervous. Well, I mean, if Joe Biden only has a 10% chance of winning and Cenk, you criticize him, does that come down to 9% or 8%? What difference does it make? He's gonna lose. 10% isn't enough to win. He's massively behind. He's massively behind, okay? So instead, what the point of turning up the pressure is if you lose to Trump, it is going to be on the record. We warned you, I warned you. I came in the race in a crazy attempt to make a difference because we're on a collision course with fascism. And if Joe Biden says, yes, I am that selfish, Yes, I don't care about you guys. I don't care if democracy's on the line. I don't care if I'm 80. I don't care if I'm 180. My legacy and my ego is more important than anything else in the world. So I will stay here and try to get a two-term president, because 2 terms is better than 1 term. And guys, and if you're in the press or you're out there as a voter, you all know that's what he's thinking. You all know that, right? You know that it's all about his ego, and it is intensely selfish. And I'm gonna say that 2,000 times on every show until he gets it through his thick head. Stop being selfish. Democracy is actually on the line. CenkForAmerica.com.
You, in a recent interview with the Sitch and Adams show, you had described your congressional run for California's 25th district as the worst experience of your life. In that election, you received 6.6% of the vote. It was also the worst experience of my life. What makes you think that anything would be different this time around, given the way the media treated you, given the stunts that the Democratic Party pulled against you? In order for your plan here to work, you just said it. If you start seeing support for you, 20 to 25% of the vote, that seems like you got that support, then maybe there'll be actual pressure for Biden to step down and not seek re-election. But what makes you think you're gonna get anywhere near that, considering what you've already experienced with the media's treatment of you?
Yeah, so I'm under no delusion that mainstream media is going to be all of a sudden, oh, Cenk Uygur, we've changed our minds.
No, they're gonna be vicious.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I know how mainstream media works, and I said it today in another interview. They will lie, they will smear me. There's no question. That's what they do to every progressive. And if you're in mainstream media and you're pretending that you're not biased against progressives, that is hilarious. And then you will make that pretense in the middle of an article where you attack me. Go ahead, you know you're going to. There isn't going to be one positive article about it, right? But hey, I'm also trying to get your beloved Whitmers and Newsoms, et cetera, into the race.
Don't say Newsom.
Okay, I know that you're not in favor of it, but that's a different conversation. So I don't think that the mainstream media is going to be any different. No, there's 2 things that are different, Anna. One is, I'm not the only one who thinks Joe Biden needs to get out of the race and we need to have a real primary. Tons of people, about 72% of Democratic voters want it. And Democratic Party, what is wrong with you? That you ignore 72% of your voters who scream, give us another candidate. So if you didn't want me in the race, well, then you should have given him another candidate, okay? And if you didn't give him that, you got me instead. So deal with it. Now, in terms of why it's different in terms of being able to break through. In the congressional run, we couldn't break through. Why not? Because they smeared me. And by the way, if I read the LA Times article and I was a voter in the 25th congressional district and I heard nothing else about me, I would have voted against me. Because the lies and the smears in there were unreal. I mean, they said I was anti-Muslim. I wouldn't vote for a guy who's anti-Muslim. They didn't tell people that I'm actually Muslim, that my background's Muslim, right, et cetera. So, but this time, it's a little bit different media dynamic. So now we have a great number of online shows. We have more liberal outlets, conservative outlets, independent outlets, like you name it. We've got every kind of outlet there is in online, in radio. I've been on black radio. I'm going to go back onto black radio. I'm going to go back onto every kind of outlet that will have me on. And my guess is a lot of outlets will have me on. In the old days, mainstream media can freeze you out, right? And then you're done for. They smear you, oh, this guy's anti-Muslim, and they anti this, anti that, and then you never get your voice out. Well, now, look, guys, here, I'm going to keep it real. When an online show has me on, the views are gonna go up because people are interested in it. And so if maybe the entire internet will say, no, we're not interested in views. No, we're not interested in Cenk. We're not interested in another choice. Biden's got it. Biden's on cruise control here. He's definitely gonna win. My guess is a lot of shows, wherever they are on the political spectrum, are gonna go, oh, okay, there's a fight, okay? And now there's a real challenge. And look, one of my advantages is I am loud. And so that is sometimes a disadvantage. But in this case, someone's got to scream from the rooftops. Biden's gonna lose, Biden's gonna lose. We've got to get another candidate. But the advantage I have is, yes, I'm loud, I'm a warrior, and I will make this case. Not only the case that Biden's got to go, But our case, so even though this is not progressive versus establishment, and I will take any candidate, myself or others, that is going to beat Trump, yes, but our policies are more popular. And I'm not afraid to say it. And so you almost never hear someone forcefully making the argument. Why haven't they done paid family leave? 84%. Republicans wanted, Democrats wanted paid family leave, give moms 12 weeks off.
Welcome back to TYT. We're interviewing Cenk Uygur, who's just announced that he is entering the presidential race. He will try to primary President Joe Biden, who is seeking re-election, who is taking a massive risk considering how poorly he's doing in the polling against Donald Trump. And this is Cenk's way of trying to basically prevent what appears to be a future set in stone for both Biden and Trump. Now, I want to read some comments from our viewers, Cenk, because there are some who have questions, some who have concerns, others support you in this effort. Seth Michael Draginski says, I have so many mixed opinions on this, but if you can't get into a debate with Biden, how does this matter? I'm asking for you to genuinely explain it to me. If you don't go all the way, what's the plan then? I really need these answers to decide where I end up on this.
Okay, super fair. So first of all, of course the DNC should have a debates, and I understand that they're not going to because they are in the business of protecting incumbency, which is not their job. Their job is to pick the best Democrat to be the best candidate against the Republicans, but they have abdicated that responsibility. I don't think that they're gonna go, oh, Cenk Uygur's in the race. Well, then we should do a debate right away. So I understand that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't pressure them, you should. Now, let's all note that we all know, and you don't have to be a Young Turks viewer to know this, that Joe Biden could not withstand a debate against me. It wouldn't even be close. It would be embarrassing. Why are we picking a guy who would be embarrassed by an online talk show host in a debate, and we all know it and we can all acknowledge it? He has no chance of beating someone who has actual facts and makes a strong case. So he can't even make a case for himself. He's at 19 points lower than Trump on jobs when he doubled the number of jobs that Trump created. I have made a better case for Biden on jobs than he has. So now, in terms of what happens, well, we run super hard. I believe anything is possible. Do I believe we can win? Hell yes, I do. But if you get to Iowa, you get to South Carolina, which is in about 4 months from now, and I'm wrong, and we don't come close, we don't get to, God knows what I'll start at. I have no idea what number I'll start at, right? But I assume that it'll be low. But let's say I do the circuit and I get the message out there and people get, oh my God, your policies are so popular. Why aren't we doing those? Your voice is so strong. That's exactly what we want for the Democratic Party. Okay, great. Then I get to 20, I get to 25, I get to 35, wonderful. But if that doesn't happen and you lose Iowa and South Carolina decisively, you're done. It's not like you're dragging it out, right? And guys, this is another huge part of this. No one on the Democratic Party is fighting Trump. I mean, they're playing patty cakes with this guy. The guy used Nazi words the other day about poisoning the blood of our nation. The guy tried a coup attempt here. For God's sake, somebody fight him. I'm not waiting for Chris Christie to fight Donald Trump. I'm gonna fight Donald Trump. I'm a Democrat. And so our job, and I gotta, Joe, wake up. You're supposed to fight the guy. Here, I'll tell you this, guys. Let's say we go a month, right? Month is not much at all. And I rise in the polls more than Biden does. What does that tell you? I mean, Biden is right now trailing the most unpopular politician of our lifetimes, Donald Trump. And he needs to be up 5. So if Joe Biden surges, and now he's up 5, he's up 7. Oh, great, Michigan, my bad. Okay, then you should say, hey, you know what? If he did this for me, I'm gonna vote for him. If it looks like he's gonna win, I'm gonna vote for him. But why would you pick a guy that you know almost for sure is going to lose? So we're gonna put the voters to a decision. Can we win that decision? Yes, of course we can. Because the Democratic voters, because of mainstream media, have almost never heard a super strong Democrat that says we are right on the issues. We should have $15 minimum wage. We should have at a minimum public option. They're incredibly popular. They're not progressive radical positions, etc. They're progressive mainstream positions. They're centrist positions. And they've never seen a Democrat actually rip the face off a Republican. So obviously rhetorical, right? These days you have to clarify that because of the Republicans. But they put like, oh, Joe Biden, you're gonna see it again. He's gonna go on the campaign trail and like a schmuck, He's going to thank his Republican friends. Stop doing ads for them. I will not be doing ads for Republicans. I will be attacking Donald Trump and telling you what a spoiled little child he is and how he bankrupted every business he's ever been involved in. He's pathetically weak. I will fight for you, Seth. That's what I'll do. JankForAmerica.com. But not only that, we already bought BidenIsGonnaLose.com. BidenIsGonnaLose.com.
So, okay, you're displaying your typical bombastic style.
I am.
Which we know. Which leads me to think about the actual kingmakers in every election. And those kingmakers are not either party. It's the people who are undecided, the independent voters. How do you propose to appeal to them?
Oh, that's super easy. Okay, I thought you were gonna say kingmakers as in donors. Okay, so
no.
That's the first layer of kingmakers.
We can get to funding in a minute, but yeah, I am curious because I enjoy your boisterous, bombastic style. It's off-putting for others. I would venture to say some who identify as independents, maybe a little more conservative leaning, but are open to Democratic candidates.
So look, here's what independents and even conservatives know they're gonna get with me: honesty and authenticity. So I'm not gonna pull my punches when I don't agree with you. I'm gonna throw the punch. Everybody knows that, right? So now you could say that's alienating. Sure, fair, all right? But on the other hand, when I'm honest with them and I say, hey, look, conservatives figured out that corruption was so bad that basically these things were, all these campaign contributions are bribes. That's why they want to drain the swamp. They went in the wrong direction with Trump. I won't bend 1 inch on that, okay? You were wrong to go in that direction. Having said that, you were right that yes, corruption is totally out of control. And what other Democrat tells you that, acknowledges, hey, Mitch McConnell raised $1 billion. Every Democrat out there is going, yeah, oh man, corrupt son of a bitch, right? And mainstream media was willing to begin to entertain that conversation. Nancy Pelosi also took $1 billion. Is she an angel? No, it's not about personalities. And I don't have anything against Nancy Pelosi on a personal level, but you took the $1 billion because you were gonna serve those folks, and you did serve those folks. Now, independents know that. And when the Democrats keep going, no, when we take the corporate money, it's because we happen to agree with ExxonMobil. They lose all credibility, all ability to win independents. I would win more independent votes than any Democrat. It wouldn't even be close. And look, another thing is, Anna, as you know, and as we've taken some heat for here, our positions are what I call mainstream progressive. So they are not extreme left. And so, for example, one of the things that I'm animated about is crime. And I've had that debate with leftists online. God bless them, love them, brothers and sisters, okay? But crime is real. It's not, people are not imagining it. And crime is, by the way, an iceberg for the Democratic Party. That's the second thing I'll warn you about. Look, you talk, and you don't trust my anecdotes. Go do your own anecdotes. People outside of politics, okay? People inside politics, their brain has melted. They're like, oh yes, whoever is the leader, yes, of course. If you're losing by 24, that means you're going to win any second now. You're going to turn it around because Joe Biden has so much charisma. So you can't talk to people in politics. Their brain is totally melted. But talk to real Americans. I did this weekend, usual stuff, family, friends, etc., that are not involved in politics. So they said 2 things. I said, do you think Joe Biden's gonna win? They all laughed out loud. They're like, yeah, he's so old. So in politics, everybody's like careful, like, oh, you're ageist and this and that. We can't, I'm saying it out loud because the whole country's saying it out loud. He's too old. He's too old. We all know he's too old. And look, am I worried that it's beyond just too old? We're all worried that it's beyond just too old. The second thing they say, Anna, I asked them, and they happen to be Asian, and I said, if the Republicans weren't weirdly hateful, how many of you would vote for Republicans now? And they all raised their hands. They're all Democrats. And I said, why? They said crime.
Crime, the migrant crisis, which they've provided absolutely no resources for and pretend like is no big deal, as local communities are now fighting for scraps among each other, and the migrants who need to be sheltered and housed and everything. No, I mean, look, we're not winning with the Democratic Party, Cenk. But the Democratic Party is more interested in, they're paying your dues and respecting your elders type nonsense. Like I really fail to understand how any potential Democratic candidate would see your run as a sign that they need to enter the race. I really do. I don't see it.
No, we got to knock Biden out. There's no other way around it. We have to knock Biden out. So now the guys who are not running currently, yeah, they believe in authoritarian rules, right? If the dear leader, Joe Biden, says, I don't care if I'm 90 or 200, you will bow, they bow. And that is not what a Democrat is supposed to be. We're not supposed to bow down to authority. We're supposed to challenge authority.
Well, they're doing it to protect our democracy, Cenk.
Oh, yeah.
Democracy is under threat, so.
Yeah, if you're one of those Democratic governors, don't you ever dare say that democracy is under threat and not run against the guy who has almost no chance of winning. You were giving the election to Donald Trump. I'm not gonna do it. I'll do anything to make sure that doesn't happen. By the way, if you agree, it doesn't matter what your politics is. Just send in $1 at cenkforamerica.com as like a protest. Oh, please another candidate, please, me or anyone else. Okay, so in terms of I'm sorry, what was the question you were asking? The Democratic Party. Okay, yeah, so look, I hear you. That's the current state of the Democratic Party. Okay, now I'm gonna say something that, let's whisper of a dream, right? I'm running to win. I'm running for a number of reasons, including to make sure that we get the best possible candidate, but I'm definitely running to win. And when people hear my message, I think they are going to be very excited that this message exists. Remember, people who watch mainstream media, I know it sounds shocking, but a lot of them have never heard this message. Never heard that Joe Biden didn't even try the public option and that the public option is sitting at 68%. 2/3 of the country wants it and the Democrats will not try. And so the dream that I'm whispering is, well, if I win, then we are the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party switches overnight from one that is weak, that won't fight Republicans, that won't do anything that makes sense, that is reasonable, that can win elections. Overnight, we switch to, we fight for things that are popular. The whole country's on our side on a huge number of issues, and we fight for them and we win. Imagine a Democratic Party that's strong. cenkforamerica.com.
Our viewer, General Lemon, has a question for you. I think we know the answer to this, but just want to put it out on the record. Will you be taking any super PAC money?
Yeah, no, you don't know the answer. So here's the situation, guys. The DNC, and this is coincidental, but TYT Reports broke this. Okay, this happened a little while back and we reported on it on Friday. So Candace Cole's the reporter for TYT Reports in DC, and she broke the story of how the DNC had a vote on keeping dark money out of the primaries, okay? Now, I'm massively in favor of taking dark money out of the primaries. If they pass that rule, I would be thrilled about following it. Then later, and you would love this, they passed a resolution condemning dark money.
Okay.
So they voted in favor of dark money, but then condemned themselves for taking dark money. That's the current state of the Democratic Party. Okay, so if they're not gonna, and they always say about the general elections, oh, we have to keep the money in politics because we're not doing unilateral disarmament. Then I'm not doing unilateral disarmament. I don't know that I'm gonna have a huge amount of big dollar donors that come in and create super PACs for me, but I might. And if I do, God help you. Me with money, they're in a world of trouble. So if there's super PACs that come in and they do independent expenditures, have at it, Hoss, go for it. And if you don't like it, then make sure that there's no dark money in the Democratic primaries, which is a position that I want, okay? Look, I said this in my book. I'm going to, whether it's the PACs that I formed, this presidential run, whatever it is, I'm a battering ram. And eventually, progressives will spend so much money in politics, it'll be grassroots donors, the overwhelming majority of them. But we will collect them as Bernie did. He got over $200 million twice in presidential elections. We will collect that money and we will spend it to attack the establishment Democrats so much that they cry uncle. And they go, oh, no, we didn't want money in politics. Then we will take that money and we will crash it on top of the Republican Party's head until they cry uncle. And they get money out of politics to get our money out of politics. Meanwhile, cenkforamerica.com. Look, guys, bottom line is, you either, look, I'm not spectacularly wealthy. Oh God, I wish I was. If I was, I would spend so much money, I would make them cry. You want to have these super PACs go and attack progressives like Nina Turner? I would double anything a super PAC spent if I had that kind of money. But for now, it's us together, guys. Either you say, yeah, go get him, Cenk, go get him, go to cenkforamerica.com. You give $1, great, that's a protest against the current system. You want to give more, fantastic. Whatever money you give, I am going to take that and put so much energy behind it. And I'm going to amplify it, and yes, we can win that way.